Hi, I'm Dr. Jeremy Brook. Thanks for checking out SPINECHECKER.com, the official website of the Life Center Chiropractic. Today I'd like to bring to your awareness a zone in the spine, much like Machu Picchu, Sedona, and sometimes the Bermuda Triangle, a zone in the spine that has tremendous structural, biomechanical, physiological, and energetic properties when in alignment. I'm talking about the lumbosacral region. We spend so much time talking about the top part of the spine. Today I'd like to drop down to the bottom. So the lumbo for the lumbar, specifically the L5, and the sacro for the sacrum. Now I'm not going to turn you into an anatomist, but I do want to point out a couple vital details that, if respected, can turn your spine into a lightning rod. Here we go. So we have this square-shaped vertebrae docking right on top of an upside-down pyramid. Now this part of your spine is going to be the strongest when a curve, a lordotic curve, is present, such that the spine is in extension. It's almost as if your low back had just popped a wheelie. Now this spine is going to function wonderfully when you have 2/3 of the weight distribution on the back joints, these facet joints, these zygapophyseal joints, and then 1/3 of the weight will be spread out on the back side portion of the vertebrae, as well as the back portion of the discs, like right about there. So 2/3 at the back part of your spine, and then 1/3 on the back part of your vertebral bodies and your discs. Now when your spine is in this type of configuration and you have this nice extension, you have this nice lordotic curve, it's popped a wheelie, you're able to express optimal alignment. Now what is optimal alignment? Optimal alignment is a state in which the architecture is arranged in such a way that it, number one, helps to balance gravity. Number two, allows for a healthy distribution of weight. Number three, allows for a full range of motion. And then number four, which is the most important, allows for the nervous system to express itself without interference, because after all, we have a life force, human electricity, prana, chi, ruach, flowing through the wires that are protected by the bones. Now when you shift away from this optimal alignment, this optimal curve that we've created, and into more of a rounded position as your baseline default position, you lose this natural shock absorber. You lose this natural mechanism which sets your discs and your spine up for some type of accelerated wear and tear. Now the way that this works is these beautiful discs, this incredible structure, you lose the blood supply to these discs around the age of 18, which means the way you get nutrition into the disc and toxins out of the disc is through a process called imbibition. When you lose this natural curve and you lose this natural arc, this natural shock, you set your spine up for biomechanical derangement, which will cause some wearing down of your discs. Now listen, you've got 23 discs in your spine. If you lose 1 millimeter off of each disc, that's 23 millimeters. You've got 25 millimeters in 1 inch. So can you believe it? If you just misalign your spine improperly, create biomechanical derangement, you start creating misalignments in your spine, you have some additional wear and tear, you have the ability of losing out on 1 inch of your height. If you are concerned with cosmetic care toward your spine, this is a great reason to maintain that incredible shock absorber. So you with me? Here's the 5-second commercial. Good arrangement, not so good arrangement. And we're talking about for a sustained period of time. Listen, your spine is built for bending forward and back and side to side, as well as rotation. I'm talking about just being in a certain position, a rounded position, losing that normal lordotic curve. When this happens, stress is going to develop. Now the stress could be originally from a physical, chemical, or emotional stress that causes your spine to buckle, which then 90% of the time your body is able to adapt to that type of stress, bounce you back to that natural organic internal alignment. But 10% of the time, either due to lack of awareness or it's just stuck, your spine doesn't correct itself. And 10% of the time will result in increased tension. If your body can't adapt to that increased tension, a subluxation most likely will develop. What's a subluxation? Subluxation. Sub, less, lux, light, ation, and expression. Less light and expression, which doesn't sound fantastic if you have less light and expression going to the digestive, going to the reproductive systems, as well as the nerve flow going to the muscles of your legs for power and locomotion. So how do you create optimal alignment and flow in this area? First and foremost, get adjusted. Then you got to move with intelligence. So the movements that we recommend in our office, we call them the cannonballs. It's as if you get shot in the chest with a cannonball of light. It's going to cause your spine to rock backwards. Get shot in the back with a cannonball. And that's going to create this natural motion. Again, the way that we feed the discs and the spine is through a process called imbibition. The next movement would look something like this, with a side bend to the left, and then a side bend to the right. And then the next version would be a twist. And you only have about 15, maybe 20 degrees for most human beings in the rotational direction. So if you do those 6 motions, the forward, the back, the side to side, the rotations after an adjustment, you can pretty much guarantee a well lubricated spine. So listen, throughout the day, pay real specific attention to this part of your spine. It has, again, tremendous energetic, physiological, and of course biomechanical structural properties. Don't commit self-harikari like the samurai, committing that self-suicide on this area. You're just spilling out your energy center, tapping into your solar plexus, your power center. Again, this is your power center. This is where your core comes from. So, get adjusted. Practice those 6 movement sequences. And until we see you in person, stand tall, my friend.